Hey everyone! How's everyone doing today? The weekend is getting closer. So today is REI behind the scenes, and we will be talking with Matthew. He's gonna share with us a property that has completed, and he's gonna just share the numbers and everything with us. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Once he comes on, we're going to see what he's gotten to work on, so that'll be exciting. But while we wait for him to come on, I can tell you guys that our next networking event is already set up. The information will be coming out most likely this weekend. For sure, the promotions will be out by Monday. And it's going to be about commercial and residential real estate. And it will be Ryan Carson who will be talking about it. So it'll be a good topic for this month's networking event. So I'm excited to have you guys all come and join. And I can see that Matt's here, so I'm just gonna add him on. Oh, perfect. I think he's made a request. Or am I requesting? Let's see. Oh, you can see my head. Hey,
Hey,
Matt.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Perfect, good. I was going to start outside, but I don't
Excited
have
to
good
see
internet
you.
service.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can see it's getting cut out. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Is that better?
You ran inside very quickly. So do you wanna, let's start with just telling the viewers a little bit about yourself, your experience in real estate. Like, yeah, just give us a little background on your experience in real estate so we know what kind of, investor are you, like beginner, intermediate, advanced, just getting a little idea for the viewers.
Sure, sure. So, I started in real estate, I'd say in 2019. I bought my first property, actually out here where I am right now in Nova Scotia. And since then, I've done a number of flips and purchased some multi-unit hold properties and properties to BRRRR. And just recently, in the last few months, I transitioned out of my full-time job into doing this full-time. Um, so that's pretty much it. And this property here would be the neighboring property to the first property I bought. So showing some interest in this region I'm in, and then also doing stuff back in Ottawa.
Awesome. That's amazing to hear. So so you're gonna be showing us two properties or one property?
Well, no,
My phone
I
is
can show
full.
you this. So the property I'm in right now is a triplex. Um,
Okay.
that's positioned as a student rental, so I have access to uh, the basement apartment that I'm in right now, and access to a bachelor that is back. So I've done
Oh, we're
some
losing.
upgrades and oh, I've done some upgrades and renos in both those apartments. So I was going to show you those.
Okay, awesome. I think I may have to go upstairs. I don't know. I think if it's me, I don't know if it's me who's having the network issue.
A little blurry. Your video is blurry on my end, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so give me a second. I'm gonna go upstairs because my Wi-Fi likes to be annoying sometimes. So give me a minute. I'm just gonna run up. Sorry, guys.
Good time for music.
Pardon?
Good time for elevator music.
Sorry about This one's a property, actually, well, I just set up. This property you're keeping, right? This is a property that you've renovated and you're going to keep?
Correct.
The
Yeah.
Burr?
So we purchased it a
Oh,
few
I don't
months
know if
ago.
my network
Did
sucks.
the renovations to it, and now that we have, we're going to be refinancing and holding on to the property. So
I don't know if it's me. My net. I should have really good network now. Do you keep on cutting out?
don't think it's me.
Can you hear me?
Maybe. I don't actually remember where the modem is in this house, so. But I think I have.
So what did you say?
Yeah. So yeah, so we're gonna end up keeping this property and rent it out as a student rental in the 2 apartments, and then the bachelor will be rented out too, I guess. So
Awesome. So let's can we do a walkthrough of your property? See what did you guys get done?
I will.
Will we be seeing all 3 or are we gonna see the 1 unit?
I'll show you the basement apartment, and then I'll show you the bachelor that's around back. The other one has tenants in it, so well, we won't be showing that. This
Sounds
one,
good.
yeah, we didn't do much work upstairs anyway because the upstairs was the main part of the house, and it was in pretty good condition. So down here, we replaced all the floors. There wasn't, like, we didn't really change anything. Everything was the way we bought it in the sense that the walls are all here, the rooms are here, the bathroom and kitchen. So we replaced the floors, we bought some new appliances, new dryer, replaced all the hardware on the doors and all new door handles and locks, and then replaced all the light fixtures as well, and appliances. And this here is a furnished apartment, so we have some custom-made furniture there, and then we have a bunch of side tables that we've ordered, and we furnished it out with some beds and side tables and stuff like that. So we really didn't.
So why are you guys being furnished? Is it because it's gonna be? Oh wait, are these the student
Yeah,
rental
so this is going to be a student rental. So everything we kind of did, we have individual locking doors on each of the bedrooms, and made it easy with a keypad and stuff to enter into the actual apartment. And then we have this sort of shared stairwell entrance area, which is kind of like the lobby of the 2 apartments. And so that has just open access. But yeah, so it's a student rental rented out by the room. And the property has 4 bedrooms down here in this apartment, and then 4 bedrooms upstairs in a different apartment, and then the bachelor around back. We have these that we are still going to be installing. I'm doing that tomorrow. And I'll just go outside and we'll head over to the other apartment, because there wasn't too much we did down there. We just kind of did some painting, appliances, light fixtures, hardware, and flooring. And that was pretty much it there. So this property here, like up here, is the same sort of apartment up here up top with a shared deck. And this garage here, we're going to be renovating to have a bachelor upstairs because it's not finished yet. It's going to be later on in the summer.
Nice.
So we'll just.
And I forgot. Sorry, did you say? Because I think I might have cut out when I was asking the question. Was this? Are you burring it, or you did some renovations and you're gonna hold
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna hold on to it. We've done the renovations. We've put maybe about $20K into it right now, and then we'll refinance to pull out some of our equity because we bought it at a discount as well. So we'll pull out some equity and do the other bachelor up there, just to add more value to the property.
Oh, okay. So you will be burying it then. It is a
yeah, we will be burning. So down here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Down here, we ended up doing this this apartment. Now, actually, I have a family member that moved into this apartment, and they've been nice enough to let us. They moved in yesterday, so they were nice enough to let us come in. But we did all the ceiling. There was drop ceiling with ceiling tiles. We had to pull out the kitchen, and we replaced all the cabinets, countertop, everything like that. And then we got new appliances and new fixtures. So here, the same thing. We did new light fixtures, painted the whole thing, and replaced the kitchen. So on the scope of my general renovations and stuff is a little bit of a smaller scope, but here we're just waiting for the stove to come in, and then it'll be done. And backsplash, stove and backsplash. Yeah.
And so for both units, you said you spent 20,000?
Yeah, we spent about 20,000. So part of that was the new. So it breaks down to about 5,000 for flooring. We spent about, let's say, less than 1,000 for the kitchen. And then we had appliances, paint, the drywall on the ceiling, and that kind of stuff. Actually.
And how are you having delays with appliances?
Yeah, so there's no stove there is because we ordered a stove 2 weeks ago, and we will not be getting it until July. So,
yeah. I'm feeling your pain.
Yeah.
We ordered our appliances like 2 months ago, maybe, and we're on like our third delay or something. We're like, oh God.
Yeah. So and we're out on Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia, so there's a lot less. I mean, it's happening everywhere, but there's a lot less supply. So 24-inch appliances are pretty much non-existent at this point.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's true. Have you had any delays in other things and anything else since that? Like material delays or something?
No, I haven't really had any delays with any sort of trades or any other kind of like supplies and stuff. The only other, I mean, I guess it's a little bit like we've had some delays with we ordered some stuff online and that. But I think part of that is a little bit typical of just being on an island. So, you know, vehicles and delivery vehicles only come once a day or once a week. So, yeah. So, I mean, there was a little delay there, but it hasn't been anything that has like caused any trouble or anything like that. So. So.
My Wi-Fi.
And then.
And it's cutting out on both sides.
I'm gonna go back upstairs. I wonder if my internet's not good.
So are you saying the Wi-Fi is not good in that area?
That's my guess.
Yeah. I think I've been all day having weird Wi-Fi issues today too. I don't know what's going on. Wi-Fi is deciding to not work today, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's. We have one modem and it's a triplex, and because it's a student rental, we include internet as like as a perk. So it covers the whole house, one modem. It mostly covers the entire house. I'm just gonna see if there's a.
Yeah, you can get those like I don't know, they're like amplifiers or something. I forget what they're called. They're like modems to help like cover all areas of the house.
Yeah, we looked into. We're probably gonna end up getting a couple of those extenders. I guess I'm gonna stand over here.
So would you like to run it through your number?
Yeah.
So purchase price? When did you buy this? Is this property you've had for a while, right?
We've had it for just a few months. So yeah, we bought it back around March. So
okay, so we bought it for?
Yeah, we bought it for $250.
Okay.
And there's about 10,000 of closing, and then we put about 20 into it, and so we're all in at about 280.
Is that including your holding costs?
Yeah, that includes the holding costs. There's maybe about $5,000 of extra holding cost to end up closing it on time. We ended up going with some private financing, so we have higher interest, higher costs. Yeah. So maybe about $5,000 extra holding than we were expecting, but overall, with the cash flow that the property will be making, it was worth it.
No
Yeah,
brainer. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how a lot of people will really get scared about interest rates or, like, yeah, high interest rates. But if the numbers make sense, you just kind of, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know that you're going to be refinancing it with traditional financing and it's going to do the job and you're still coming out cash flowing.
exactly.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah. So right now, with the private financing, we got relatively high financing, but now that's full. It little more than breaks even. And then when we go in for the refi, uh, it'll be cash flowing in excess of about 1,000 a month. So
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And that's with all the units right now being rented?
yeah,
Like, or
they are. So we have 8 rooms to rent and a bachelor. And we've decided to rent the 8 rooms. Um, and because I have a family member in the bachelor that's helping me manage our portfolio here, um,
oh,
we've decided to give them some free rent.
like a
Yeah,
break.
we decided to give them a break.
Mhm.
Um, and even with that being said, the property cash flow is about $1,000. So uh,
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's
we could
really
afford it.
good.
So it was fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. And so, okay, so then you've had it appraised. So what has it been appraised for?
We haven't had it reappraised after we've done the renovations and the upgrades. So when we purchased it, it was appraised for 260 two, I believe. And
Mhm.
now with the upgrades, we're going to be closer to the three. Like
Okay. So will you be getting all your money out? I think
we'll
so,
be
right?
getting most of
Three?
our money out. So we
Hmm.
did some creative financing um, on this property where we actually had some investors lend, and we purchased it 100%. So when we go in for the refi, we're going to be probably keeping our second position, but replacing our first, and then we'll be able to pull at least the money that we've put into it, pull that out, and then the property can just truck along.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's good. Oh, so are you keeping the second on just so you can like just to take out be able to take out all your money?
essentially, yeah. So I mean, if we were to not keep the second on, then we would have to uh, leave about
Leave
20%
some
into it.
money.
So
Mhm.
we're probably going to leave a second on for a while until.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense because I mean, if you have your second on there and you're cash flowing, especially $1,000, why not take that money out that you've invested so you can reinvest in another one? So
Exactly.
that's great that you're
So
doing
we're
that.
actually,
And like just for people to also understand that, right? Because again, like people always think like, oh my God, having a second, let's say, or put like having so much money, let's say, to the
yeah,
mortgage. But in the investor world, it's so important for us to be able to take out all or as much as of our
yeah,
money so we can continue to reinvest.
exactly. And I mean that's actually our plan A. We are looking into other options because as we are expanding, we're trying to move all of our assets into corps. So um,
Mhm.
if we end up transferring the name and moving into the corp, we actually might bring an investor partner in and split up the cash flow, but then not have to worry about having the second on or anything like that. Um, so we're
Also,
yeah.
great
Well,
strategy. Yeah.
the transition from having a full-time job into going into real estate uh, can be a little tricky when you go to the bank and you tell them, "Hey, I'm not really actually employed at the moment. Uh, will you lend me money?" So um, there's I have some really great lenders out there that are interested in backing. So we might go with the corp. We might go with keeping our own name. Yeah, we're making that decision still.
Yeah. Probably getting your accountant involved, I guess, to decide which is the best
Yeah.
one. Because it's true, having that income under your name helps you build also your income. Because now you probably have to wait 2 years before you can actually really use, right?
Exactly.
Your income.
Well, we strategically, my partner and I, I left my job. He's staying at his job so that at least we have options open. And then we will be, come the 2-year mark, all the rental income that we've been able to generate will be able to reflect properly. So.
Yeah, because I've kind of done the same thing. I've left some properties in my name because I want to just generate that income to show.
Yeah, so I have moving forward, my income will be coming from our property management wing, and so as we get more apartment buildings under management, I'll be drawing, from that. So
Yeah, that's true too. Either way, somewhere the money has to come from somewhere, and it's gonna probably take a couple years before you can get a mortgage.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the banks are there and they have their benefits, but they're not the only way to be investing in real estate, investing in properties in general. So
yeah, and actually, you know that you can still probably go through like commercial mortgages, right? A commercial mortgage.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. So if we end up changing title and moving pretty much everything we buy from this point forward into a corp or a commercial lending, then it's, everything I do is business instead of personal. So.
Yeah, because with commercial mortgages, it's not about your income. It's more about the income of the property. And if you're cash flowing that much, it'd probably be easy to get yourself a commercial mortgage.
Yeah.
But who knows? You know better.
To the broker or the underwriter at a local place here, and they when I started sharing the numbers with them, they're like, "Oh, okay, get all that, get all your paperwork together, all your leases and everything like that, and then we'll set another meeting." Like, okay.
Yeah, they'll make it work for sure. Yeah. So in this property, did you encounter any problems, either purchasing or during?
I would say there were a few. Not sort of foreseeing the delays in some of the things we ordered, like the stove and stuff like that. That was a bit of an oversight, I guess. And then having to pivot on, or not pivot, but now that our situation has changed for the refi, it's not a problem, I would say, but it's something that it's something that we have to make a decision about, and whether we pivot or don't pivot on what our original plan was. But a unique challenge that's come across that we're going to be dealing with.
Check out commercial lending.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to talk later, because I wouldn't mind hearing how it works too, because I haven't had to reach that point yet.
Yeah.
So any other things that you've encountered that were problems with the property? How was closing? Did you have problems closing? I hear like lawyer stuff is taking forever with so many different people.
Yeah, so this was Oh, did I freeze again?
Yeah, a little bit, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, so it was definitely slower than we anticipated. I feel like over the winter I closed on a couple properties, and even a property as early as like the beginning of last month. And lawyers have been things have been a little slower. than anticipated.
I think they're way overbooked. I think I've had like 5 private lands that have all been delayed at least like 1 or 2 days at least. A minimum. Like I don't think I've had actually one close on time this year. It's crazy. I've had a couple, but its majority is closing actually at least a few days late.
I mean, between the lawyers and the realtors, like they're some of they haven't had a break since the beginning of the pandemic, Yeah, they've been overworked and hustling this whole time. So kudos to any lawyers out there and and realtors.
For sure. I even get now emails now for the final statements. They're like, wait for 60 days now. And then like you go, poor guys. I'm like, everyone's buying all the houses and they're like just struggling to keep up with the demand.
Yeah. And then everything's, maybe not as quick or as efficient maybe as it used to be with face-to-face meetings. It's an email chain back and forth before the conversation's actually finished being had, instead of being able to just sit down and have the conversation a lot quicker. So, yeah.
That's very interesting. And so, any other things that you've encountered in this project?
No other problems. Opportunity. I've decided, given the extra space that we have here in the garage, to pretty much set up shop here for my endeavors in expanding in this area. So that was a nice little surprise. I knew the garage was here because I had taken a look at this property almost 2 years ago now, and or a year and a half ago, but I had kind of forgotten how big the garage was or how much of an asset that it would be. And so that was exciting once I kind of realized that.
So how come you didn't buy it then? And so did they sell it at that time and then it came back on?
No, it was
on
on the market at $265 for a couple years. And when I had bought my first property, which is this little yellow house over there, when I had first bought that property in 2019, in closing, we had actually found out that this property, this White House, was for sale, and we're like, oh, that's really interesting. So back then, I had looked into it. I took a couple months after buying my first property, and I said, how can I maybe end up buying this triplex? Because I could tell it was a really good cash flowing property, and so I put in a couple offers and tried to negotiate it down. And then I didn't have, I guess, the knowledge and the network to be able to close on it. And so I waited. I watched it on the market. It wasn't moving because it's kind of an odd property for this area. And waited.
It was on the market for 2 years.
Pardon me?
It was on the market for 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was, there's not a lot of, let's say, investors out here. So there's, most of the market demand is driven by retail buyers who are looking for a home. And this isn't that really. Like it's a triplex. You can maybe live in it, but it's like a lot of house. It's a lot of property for someone who's just looking for a house. So anyway, I was watching it and I kind of had some, people letting me know whether it was going to move or not, and eventually I ended up taking it myself. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you had that opportunity to be able to take it and that it was up for the 2 years.
Yeah. It was. I was surprised the pandemic was going on, and I was focusing more on stuff in Ottawa because I couldn't come out here to Nova Scotia, and then as as the pandemic kept going for like more than a year, I looked back over here and decided, hey, now's the time. It's still there, thank goodness, and then here we are.
That's awesome. And so you're planning to renovate the unit on top of the garage, and you're planning to live in there, make it your space?
Yeah, so we have. Well, we'll go for a little walk. So we have a loft up here, which is access through the back, and it's about 500 square feet. So I'm thinking of maybe making it a bachelor, or maybe some office space. And then we have a bunch of junk in here, but we have a garage where I'm setting up a shop. So we're gonna have all of our supplies, some spare appliances, everything that we need, so that we can manage so we can flip houses out here, and we can manage our rental portfolio out here.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And what made you go to Nova Scotia to invest?
I ended up. My sister moved out here, so she moved out here to go to college. So this is the space up here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you said it's 500 square feet? It looks bigger on the camera.
24 by 24, about. So, yeah, so my sister had moved out here to go back to college. And I helped her look for a rental. And in doing so, while I was at the same time looking for my first property that I wanted to buy, realized that the numbers out here were pretty good. I originally was starting and getting ready to do some short-term rentals, buying some cottages, and renting out up in the Gatineau Hills, and I was looking for the property, but then I looked out here, saw a house that we could use as a student rental for my sister, and it made more sense. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
My first property would be a 2-day drive, a few thousand kilometers away, but it is.
So your first one was in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, my first one was this yellow house right over here.
Oh, the yellow house is your first
one?
Oh, wow.
So it's like this little Cape Cod.
And that one, is that just a single family home, or is that like a duplex or something?
Yeah, it's just a single family home, and we had it as a student rental because it had 3 bedrooms in it. And then just recently I had a more long-term tenant just rent out the whole place.
Oh, nice. That's really nice, man. And that's nice that you have both of them side by side, because these are the only ones that you have so far in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, these are the 2 I have so far in Nova Scotia. I'm looking at a bunch of properties, like dozens and dozens of units.
Are you looking to really expand in Nova Scotia? Is that going to be your focus now?
It's going to be one of them. So buying apartment buildings, small cap, medium cap apartment buildings that maybe aren't being used to the fullest potential, and have a bunch of vacant units or something like that because they're in disrepair, and putting those back on the market. That's going to be kind of one of the focus, and out here is a great market for that because the demand for housing is astronomical. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's great. And are you going to stay in the area where the college is, or you're even just looking out into further areas in Nova Scotia?
Well, I've decided to set up shop here, essentially. So I'm going to be probably staying within an hour and a half of where I am here. Because moving forward, I plan on spending myself a lot more time out here to kind of expand this and help serve and provide as much housing as I can. So, and investment.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. And so what tips would you have for the viewers for, let's say, a BRRRR like this? Yeah, what tips would you give to the viewers?
If you're going to BRRRR a single family, which I think most people would look at for doing first, be very cognizant of what your skill level might be for renovations. This would go for a flip as well. Um, be aware of what you're able to do and not able to do, and who you have to hire the professionals out for. And then make sure that you actually factor that into your planning and your numbers up front. Don't go shopping for kitchens and materials and supplies and say, oh, I'm going to do it all. I don't need labor. And then realize that actually, in fact, you need to hire a bunch of professionals. And yeah.
I'll totally throw off your budget.
I did. So I originally bought that yellow house as my first property, and I thought, hey, I'm going to BRRRR that. I was going from Ottawa, big city standards of finishes and quality of house or whatever. I'm like, oh, I can make that so much better. But once I bought it, showed up and saw the place, I went, you know what, this house, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, yeah, it has maybe some little bit deferred maintenance here and there, but there's no return on any of the upgrades that I would do because the market here doesn't support it. So I would also suggest that people be mindful of the market that they're going to BRRRR in, and make sure you're actually going to get if you're going to put a roof on for $10,000, it will increase your property's value by at least $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, whatever.
I completely agree with that. It's very true. There's lots of people, especially I think it's like when their first home, their first investment, they treat it like their home.
Yeah.
And they want to make it like the most beautiful thing in the world. And then afterwards, when you start thinking, does that really matter? Is that going to really help you out?
Yeah.
And usually it's no. You just want to do. You want to definitely knowing your area is very important.
And as soon as I got a I requested a copy of the appraisal when we purchased it, and you read through the appraiser's comments and everything, and he'll give you a really good idea of like what expectations are in the market. So when you look at it and you're like, well, that's like, that kitchen's dated. And he looks at it and you look at the appraisal and says, average or good condition kitchen or whatever his comments are, you're like, oh, there's nowhere to really move easily the value of the property. So, and it's really nice. It's like,
and appraisals are very detailed.
Yeah, and it's super useful. If you're going to do a BRRRR, I'd always request the appraisal so you know exactly what that appraiser looked at, what he said was not in good shape, and like what he like put the most emphasis on. And it's like a checklist. Do what the appraiser says at the very minimum, and then you know exactly how to raise that value. So
100%. Yeah, that's actually a very good tip. I don't know if that was one of your tips, but that's a really good tip.
For free.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Because it's true. Oh my God. When I first looked at my first appraisal, I was looking at this and I'm like, my God, the work that goes into that is so detailed, pages and pages of information. It was really surprising to look at that. And like you said, it was super helpful.
Yeah, and he
just kind of gives you a view into their world.
Yeah. And they grade everything, you know, curb appeal. Is it A, B, C? Like, is it, what condition is everything in the house? And so something you might not have even thought of, you spend 1 day or 2 days just cleaning up the yard, and instantly you've gone from poor disrepair to average or good, and that's just money in the bank.
100%. Thanks so much for coming on. That was awesome. Loved hearing your tips. Those are very good tips. No one's ever said anything about the appraiser. So even though if it wasn't, I mean, we pulled it out of you.
That's
so
right.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It was so awesome to hear about your BRRRR. I hope we can. And I know you got a lot coming, so we'll probably have you on again to hear one of your other ones. You know which one I want to hear about? I think he keeps on freezing, but you know which one I want to hear about? What? I want to hear about the Boise one. That one would be a good one to hear about. Because I think that one comes with like lots of problems. That would be good to hear what you're thinking.
I'm back in Ottawa next week, so I'll reach out and we can set something up.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. It's really nice to see you, and I know that everyone probably enjoyed looking at your house and getting to hear the numbers. and the problems.
Well, thanks for having me. Great.
Bye,
Have a good one.
Ruben. Thank you, Matt.
Bye.
Bye.